Hi, I'm Dave Isaacs, and this week in Core Concepts, I want to talk about playing well with others. You may not have any aspirations to join a band. You might have picked up the guitar just to play for yourself. Maybe you just want to play some of your favorite songs. Maybe you're a songwriter and you want to be able to perform your songs and you haven't thought about playing with other musicians. But no matter what, there is a stage of your development that I don't think you ever get past without learning how to play with other people. There's something about your big picture understanding of the music that comes together in a more concrete way. But also for the simple fact that if you play alone most of the time, then you may not have the same incentive to actually finish the song. If you don't sing, and you're not working with somebody who's singing, there's a very good chance that you don't have any real incentive to finish the song. Now, a lot of people practice with backing tracks nowadays, and that's really useful. They're a great tool. But at the same time, that teaches you to follow. It doesn't necessarily teach you how to interact. I've made reference to a bigger picture sense, a kind of musicianship that allows you to grasp the entire song and the movement within it. So you're not just thinking about the next thing you're going to play, but you're aware of the different segments, an intro, a verse, a chorus, whatever those happen to be, the way that they interact with each other dynamically as far as the flow of the song, the way a verse can tell a story and then build into the emotional payoff of the chorus. If you're a lyricist, or a singer who's thinking about words, then you might be paying attention to those things. But someone who's just strumming the guitar chords may not be. And the fact is, it's going to enhance your performance tremendously to be aware of those things because it's going to bring more dynamics into your playing. Now, playing with other people also makes you more sensitive to dynamics because you want to recognize when you're playing with somebody and not over them. Your sense of dynamic is not just where you are relative to the person you're playing with, although that's very important. It's also relative to the overall push and pull of the song, both musically and emotionally. And it can be tricky to actually put into words what the difference is between someone that hears those things and someone that doesn't. But it's not tricky to hear the difference between two performances when one has it and the other does not. So your goal as a player, no matter what you're playing, is to be able to do it confidently and do it well, right? You've heard me say that before, that I'm not all that concerned with whether you become a virtuoso. I mean, if that's your goal, then yes, that's what we're concerned with. But more to the point, most people are just learning to play to satisfy one urge or another. You got an itch you want to scratch. You find out that it's fun, that it feels good, for whatever variety of reasons that people start playing music. But for you to really be able to do it with the level of confidence and skill that you're going to feel satisfied after a performance, the sense that you can confidently, when called upon to perform a song, just do it. And there are always going to be things that you're working on that are more challenging, technically, and maybe those things are more at the edge of your ability. Having this bigger musical sense that comes from working in the group situation really makes it easier for you to solve those problems too, because you have a sense of the musical context. You have a sense of what the part you're learning how to play does in terms of the bigger picture, in terms of this dynamic drive of the entire song. It's definitely more challenging to be aware of that playing on your own. Not after a while. I mean, once you have a level of experience, you learn how to drive these things. And there's lots of very, very, very dynamic solo performers. Honestly, I think it needs to be a goal, no matter what, is to be a dynamic solo performer. I've always said that if you can make a room full of people dance just playing an acoustic guitar, you've learned how to play good rhythm. When you're in this learning process, when you're just getting your legs, when you're just getting comfortable, you're still thinking about a lot of things outside of that dynamic flow, outside of that rhythmic pocket, the details that really elevate the performance. While you're still busy thinking about what chord to play, it's really very difficult to keep track of all of that stuff. And rather than wait until you've got all those nuts and bolts down before you even start thinking about dynamics and rhythm and pocket and feel and all those things that make the difference between a average performance and a really good one, getting into a group situation makes those things happen around you. There is a groove that you need to lock into. There is a pocket, a rhythmic sense that you need to feel, to match up with. There is an overall dynamic push, pull, ebb and flow, rise and fall. And even if you're kind of struggling to get to the chords, those things are going on. You are going to hear them. You are going to perceive them even on a subliminal level. And at some point, even if they're chords you struggle with, you will be able to think about those things. And these are really important details as a musician that you need to be aware of. It's also, to me, the difference between really feeling a performance and having more of an intellectual sense of it, but just remembering whether you hit a chord or not. I mean, something else you want to remember is that your audience really isn't paying attention to your mistakes. If you miss a couple of chords in the course of a song, odds are no one even noticed. And even if they did, even if it was a spectacular fail, even if you fell completely on your face, as long as you were able to pick up and keep going, they're just going to remember the song. Because if you're communicating the emotion, if you're communicating dynamically, then that's what your audience takes away. It's the most satisfying thing when you are feeling that dynamic flow from beginning to end of the song, when you are feeling the pocket, when it makes you want to move. I can't tell you how many times I've seen somebody in a lesson when we've been working on strumming or a groove, and when they do lock into it, suddenly they start moving when they play, when they weren't before. And that's a very satisfying thing. It just makes the music, well, more, I keep using the word dynamic, but it makes it more exciting. It makes it feel better, because that is why we use the word feel. It's a physical sensation. The best way to develop a strong sense of pocket, a strong sense of groove, is to play music with other people who are listening to each other and interacting and developing that bigger sense of the shape of the song, the interaction between the parts of the song, the flow, the dynamics, the interaction between the players. All of those things just elevate your sense of the music. They elevate your enjoyment of the music. They elevate your performance. And ultimately, they elevate what the listener takes away. And so those are really, really valuable things. It can be difficult to find other people to play with, but make the effort. No matter how small your community is, you can probably find somewhere where there are people that play music, or use online communities. And even if you start off just interacting online and sending things back and forth, just to be listening to each other, to connect with other people in some way or other, whatever that takes, make the effort and do it. But if there's a place that has an open mic, go and hang out, meet people. You don't have to approach people that intimidate you, but just get a sense of where people are. Try to find musically like-minded people. It can be challenging, but they're out there. And the other part of it, and maybe the biggest part of it, is that ultimately it's just such a great feeling to play music with other people. It is my favorite thing to do with a group of people. It's my favorite way to play music. And it's a way to communicate without using words. It's just you all go to a place together and you have a shared experience. There's nothing like that. It's really a wonderful thing. It's a great thing to aim for. So I heartily encourage you, both for your own enjoyment, your own skill, and your own growth as a player. Find people to play music with, learn how to do it together, and you will absolutely benefit from the experience. I'll see you next week. Keep watching.